Hey, we're here for the next video learning segment on RAID 6. We're going to do it today with Steve Smith from Apex Networks. Steve, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I see you've been enjoying a little bit of your lunch right there. Sorry to break up your lunch hour, but I don't think it's going to bother you too much if we do a little learning segment now, is it?
No.
Of course not. So let's just start by, can you tell me what is RAID 6 in a nutshell?
RAID 6 is where you have two parity drives instead of one, which is what you would have in RAID 5.
Okay, and by parity drive you mean that the data is spread over not only one drive in case a drive goes out, but over two drives?
Correct.
Okay, so what is so good about RAID 6 in comparison to RAID 5?
Well, if you had a drive failure...
Don't look at me, look at the camera.
If you had a drive failure in RAID 5 and the hot spare was spinning up and there was a problem, another drive failure, you would lose data. But if you had two parity drives, as you have in RAID 6, then you would be able to recover from that sort of...
In fact, you wouldn't even see any interruption or any slowdown in service, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, can you give me some raw numbers? You know, if you're... How much better is the reliability of RAID 6 than RAID 5?
I would say much to much bigger, much better.
That's
a lot.
Thanks for quantifying that for us.
I didn't know we were going to
Let me ask you this. Would you say it's a few times greater, or would you say it's logarithmically greater?
I would say it's logarithmically greater.
That's correct. Chances of losing data in RAID 6 are logarithmically less than they are in RAID 5. Probably in the order of 1,500 to 2,000 times less.
Right. Correct.
Okay. Now, since RAID 6 is so good, why doesn't everybody use it?
Typically, it's
besides being hard to do and requiring a lot of math, which I know you love, but why else wouldn't everybody have RAID 6 as an offer?
Most companies can't do it because of the degradation, performance degradation.
Okay.
It slows the performance down.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Thanks for quantifying that again. Let's dive a little bit deeper. Would we say that, are we talking about 5% degradation, 20%, 30%?
Probably 30%.
Probably as much as 30%, correct. Some people have seen as much as 30% degradation in RAID 6 over RAID 5 in regards to performance.
Okay.
What would you say that we're seeing in RAID 6 over RAID 5?
We're typically seeing only about a 3%
That's
degradation.
Correct. It only was about 3% performance, which is hardly noticeable. So right now I would like to give everybody a quick visual demonstration on how RAID 6 works.
Okay.
Can you go ahead and start that?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
What did you have?
Let's use your chips. Okay, we're ready for our RAID 6 demonstration using Steve Smith's chips. There we go. Steve, could you go ahead and arrange those into a chip array, which will simulate our RAID array, please?
This is my lunch.
It's okay, you can eat it afterwards. Okay, so we have 10 drives, or 10 chips, in this array. Let's say, for example, that one of these drives goes bad. Now, in a standard RAID 5 array, would we still be good? Would our data still be good, Steve?
If we had a hot spare, it would be...
Right, so for example, here comes our hot spare. Spinning up, spinning up. How long does that typically take?
Couple hours.
Couple hours at least. Depends on the equipment. Now, say during the time that this is spinning up, another drive goes bad. If we're in RAID 5, how's our data now, even if this is done?
We've lost a chip.
Lost the data.
Lost the
The
data.
RAID array or the chip array is now gone. How are we doing in RAID 6 at this point?
In RAID 6 we're okay.
We're fine, right? We haven't had any loss in performance?
No loss in performance.
Correct, because we have two parity drives. 1, 2. Now, obviously, if a third drive was to go, we are going to lose data. But would you care to guess what the odds of losing 3 drives in, say, a 10-drive array are in regards to the high-quality drives that we use now? How often would that happen?
I don't.
Would you guess once every 25,000 years statistically?
Yeah,
that would be right.
I'd guess that.
As compared to, a much smaller number for RAID 5.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Steve. Okay, Steve, thanks very much for that RAID 6 demonstration. That was very informative. And in closing, can you tell us a little bit about how some of our customers are using this? For example, are they using it for primary storage?
Yes, they're using it for primary storage
because of the high throughput, such as 700 megabytes a second, as well as no single point of failure and active-active failover?
Yes.
How about disk-to-disk backup, archiving, and secondary storage?
Yes.
They're using that because it's very high performing, yet it's cost effective enough to be used for applications like that. And with things like RAID6, obviously our reliability is very strong. Is that what you'd say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks very much, Steve. Enjoy the rest of your Doritos and have a great lunch.